Today I'm using two different programs. One is StreamYard, which is a very good and stable platform for live streaming. And I do some of that. And I'm also using a program called SparkoCam. And the reason I use SparkoCam is because I like the way that I can display images on the screen and not have me a little bitty place and then thing I'm sharing real big. So just kind of the layout is what I like about SparkoCam, and you can do so many things. And let me show you how you can do things like I can put that on the screen. I like that little thing. Motivation is a big thing in equity marketing and creative real estate. I thought this was very creative. Must sell, lost job, can't pay the mortgage. The wife left, took the dog. The house is a gym except for asbestos. And so he would take the best offer. So today we're going to talk about creative real estate and how to do equity marketing. I'm sure there's times when everybody would like to figure the payments on something so that you can tell somebody what they'll owe monthly, or you can figure out what some person can do in qualifying. And this HP 10B2 calculator, I've had it for years, and now I've got it on my computer and I can share that on the screen or with anybody else that I'm doing telemarketing with. And so today we're going to talk about how to work the calculator, equity marketing, and just common sense investing. And you can see how I can change things on the screen and make it work like I like to do it. The calculator, you don't have to clear the calculator out. But I will. I'll clear all the registers so it'll just all be set to 0. And we're going to use these first 5 registers up at the top. And I'll explain what those are. N is term, interest per year, I know what that is, present value or principal value, payment, and future value. And so either payment or principal value has to be negative when you're doing a calculation. Either one is fine. It depends on if the money's going out of your pocket or into your pocket. So it does make a little bit of difference, but one of them has to be a negative, or the calculator will give you an error. And so you can put your information in any way you want to put it in. There's no right way to start or anything like that. This gold key is the shift key, like I'm going to clear the calculator. So I just go clear, shift clear all, and that clears everything out of the registers. Let's just pretend that we're buying a rental property. Now, I'm not going to talk about owner occupied because the interest rates are low, and if you go to discount a note and sell it, the discount is so huge that most people don't like to do that. But with investment property, the interest rates usually run anywhere from, with a bank, anywhere from 5 to 6.5% if you're going to a lender. But owner carry may be higher or it may be lower, and the term can vary and the interest rate can vary. So you got all these variables. And so we want to figure out how to do a payment. So let's say that we've got a mortgage that is about $180,000. Put that in present value. I'll say the interest rate is 5.5 per year. Now you can see my payments are yearly, and I've got 12 months up there, and it could be annually, it could be monthly, quarterly, it could be anything you would want it to be, but mine are monthly and 12 payments per year. And the term in. You can calculate it in your head if you want to do that, or you can go like this. You can go 20 shift and payments per year. So there's 240 payments is 20 years. And now the only thing that we have to do is solve for the payment. So the payment is negative $1,238.20. So that's at 5.5%. And let's say that, well, that's too high, that the borrower says, I can only pay $1,000 a month. So how would you do that? So we know that that would be the payment. So let's just put $1,000, change the sign, payment, and now we can solve for the interest rate, or we can solve for the term or the balance. Maybe the buyer has to put more money down, or maybe they're comfortable with a higher rate or a longer term. So let's just say term. So that'd be 381 payments. 360 payments is 30 years. So that's a little over 30 years. That's a little bit much. So let's just change that back to 240 payments or 20 years. So let's change the rate down to 5% and see what the principal value would be. 151,000, that means they'd have to come up with 30,000 more dollars if they wanted the payments to be $1,000 a month. You can see how that you can vary any of this. Let's go down and change it to 3.5 interest and see what we could afford then. 172,000. So that's how I change all these figures around. And there's another thing that I really like about this calculator. And let's go up here to the hamburger section. And you can see that we want to do an amortization. So let's say amortization. And as you can see on the screen, there's my amortization. It gives 240 months, 3.5% interest, 1,000 a month payments, 12 periods per year. Over the life of the loan, they will have paid $240,000 for this property. You can see how that every month the principal and interest is changing and the remaining balance is also going down. And so this is really a good thing to use, is the amortization schedule. So let's go back over here to our calculator. And let's say that we are not going to carry this for 20 years. We're just going to finance this for 10 years and we want to be paid off. So 10 years is 120 months. So let's go 120 in, and we'll see what the future value is. They'll still owe $101,126 in 10 years. And you can go up here and you can look at the amortization, go shift, amort, and there's your amortization schedule. And so you could go down to 10 years, it would be 120 months. 18, 19, 20, they'd still owe 101,126.76. So you could go figure any term that you wanted to. Let's go here. Let's put 0 back in future value. And let's say we want to go out for 25 years. And we want to go with 6% interest. And what would our principal balance be? Our payment be? It'd be $1,110.94. That's on $172,000. So you can see how you can just vary all of these figures. And now let's look at the amortization schedule. Just go shift, amort. And let's go down to 5 years. And let's say what would be the balance in 5 years would be $155,000 that they would still owe. Now let's say that that I'm willing to buy this note. And so we're willing to buy the note. And of course, that's what we do is we buy the notes. So let me put this up on the screen. My calculator go. So that's what happens when you do a broadcast sometimes is things go away. And let's bring the calculator back. And there it is. Okay, because I had clicked off of it. But you can see down there that it says that we buy notes. So SparkoCam sometimes it works really great. It's just you got to remember which box you're in so that you can change things. And I like this one also. I like this because it is a very true picture that we are all carrying around this massive amount of debt. We have debt on our cars and our houses and our credit cards. And so debt, just like the graphic shows, is locked to your leg and you're bound to that debt. And so the thing that we can do is that we can always negotiate the debt, especially if you're dealing with an owner and the owner is willing to negotiate with you and help you solve your problem as you help him solve his problem. And that would be how to finance the property. Most owners that have equity in their property, they want some security. They want to know that you're committed, which means down payment usually. And they want to know that you can be able to actually afford the payments and make it. And that's where Dodd-Frank comes in. There's a lot of exemptions in Dodd-Frank, and investment property is one of those exemptions. And so we buy and we sell promissory notes. And so if you have a promissory note that you would like to sell, be sure and keep us in mind, and we would look at that note and see what we'd pay for it. And most notes are sold at a discount, and sometimes the discount can feel like it's pretty tough. And it is, because it's all about risk and yield. What would somebody pay for the right to own the payments of this note, to receive a $1,110.94 for the next 300 months? Several ways to do this. You could buy 5 years worth of payments or 2 years worth of payments, or you could buy the whole note. And so how you start your calculations does make a difference. If you're going to just buy a partial, then your discount is not going to be as much or maybe nothing at all. But your yield will go up because you're getting your money back quicker. You're getting it on the front end. So let's just take this and see how, let's say that my yield that I've got an investor that will buy this note, but not at 6%. So let's just say 10% and we'll put that in and see what the principal value is going to be. So I could pay $122,256 for that note. And if the payments were all made on time, then my yield would be 10%. And so that's how you do it. Now then, that was $174,000, I think. And so that's about a $50,000 discount. And that has to do with risk. It has to do with carrying that for 30 years or 25 years in this case, which is a long time. And so once you buy that note, you're committed. But usually notes sometimes get paid off and sometimes they don't. And sometimes there's defaults. People have problems. And so just like banks, you have to be very careful and limit your risk. But private notes are usually sold at a discount. Of course, banks They bundle a lot of notes together and they'll sell a group of notes, maybe 200 or 300 of them together. And they'll sell these notes and they will sell them at a discount. And that's the same thing that we're doing here, only we're doing it one note at a time and not buying multiple notes. So that's how you would figure that. Now let's go back up here and put 180,000 back in the calculator. And let's say that we're going for 5.25% interest, and we want to know what the payment's going to be. $619. That's not bad, but that's not correct. So let's go 5.5, 5.5 interest per year. There's where I made the mistake. And the payment is $1,105.36. One thing about these calculators is that when you work with them enough, you get to recognize real quick when things don't quite look right and you have made a mistake. And so you just go back and correct it. So let's see what the amortization schedule looks like on this. So you could use the hamburger up there and go that way, or you can use the gold key, shift, amort, and there's your amortization schedule right there. And so you can see that the amortization schedule, the principal is 280 and it's going up every year. And the interest is down here is the principal is 294 and the interest is 810, and it just keeps going down. And you get down to 5 years, which is 60 months, they still owe $160,000. So I hope this has been a good little lesson on the HB 10B2 calculator. It's a very good calculator to carry around on your phone. And the app is called All in a Day Development. A very good app for that calculator. And you can use it on your phone or your computer or your iPad or anything like that. We deal primarily in investment real estate, but that would include houses, rent houses, triplexes, duplexes, and things like that. If you would like to get a hold of me, it's info@montrosecommercial.com. We do trading, equity trades, and if you have properties that you can't sell or you would like to explore the concept of trading your equity for something else because your property maybe is difficult to sell, or you would need the tax write-off, you don't want to pay capital gain or depreciation recapture, then also get a hold of me and we'll work through that. So thanks for watching this broadcast, and I will end the broadcast.